I want you to close your eyes for just a moment. No one's going to steal your purse. Close your eyes for just a moment. Take a deep breath and really set an intention for yourself around what you're going to get for yourself over the next 3 days, but really what's possible for you in terms of contribution after you begin playing a much bigger game. Keep breathing into that intention and know that after this week, nothing will stop you from being able to change a lot of people's lives and make a lasting difference in the world. As entrepreneurs, we are different from other people, aren't we? Aren't we? Yeah. We're cut from a different cloth. We are the crazy ones. And if we were meant to work in a cubicle, we would be working in a cubicle. Turn to the person next to you and say, high five to that. No cubicle for me. We can't live like other people. We can't clock in and clock out, right? 9 to 5. Can we do that? Absolutely not. That actually, for me, that would be a slow death. Yes, I heard it over here, a slow death, right? Because there is something that you and I know deep in our hearts. See, we recognize, how many of you last night recognized people like heart to heart? Like, this is my tribe, yes? Right? Because we look into each other's hearts and we know that deep down inside, we're here for one thing and one thing only. And it is to make a difference. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, we are here to live a life that matters. To leave this place a better place than when we came here, yeah? Now, it doesn't matter if you're a financial planner, a coach, a hairstylist. Does it? Right? We're all here to put our imprint on the world. And if you haven't heard my concept about sharing the brownies, I'd like to share it with you. Imagine that you are in your kitchen and you have a house full of people. Your friends and family, loved ones are in the living room, and you're in your kitchen, and you are baking up the most incredible tray of ooey, gooey, chocolatey brownies. You can smell it? Right? And the timer goes off, you open the oven, you take the tray of brownies out, close the oven, and you're like, oh, this smells so good. Somebody comes in and says, what are you doing in there? And you're like, nothing. Go back to the living room. I will be there in just a few minutes. And then you go to the corner of the kitchen, you know, that's like an L shape, so you're hiding. You cut up the brownies, and you eat them all by yourself. Right? You're not sharing the brownies. Well, I want you to get that each one of us, without exclusion, has been given certain gifts that others haven't been given. And we've been given unique abilities and talents that you may be taking for granted right now. And we were given life experiences, some wonderful, and some not so wonderful. And they've made us who we are, those experiences, yes? Yes. And so all of that was given to you to create the person you are today. And that person had all those experiences and those unique abilities and talents, not so you could use them only for your own benefit. What were these given to you for? So you can share it, right? Because once you have something of value, it has no meaning and no value until you share it with somebody else. So it is actually your duty, your divine duty, to get out there in a really big way and share your brownies. Because you have the solution that countless clients need. In fact, you've heard my 3 a.m. I don't have enough client sweats story, yeah? Like tossing and turning in the middle of the night when I didn't have enough clients. And I would just covered in sweat, and you know, the credit card companies were calling, and they wanted their money, and I just didn't know where I was going to find my next client, right? And so all I wanted at that time was to find somebody who had the solution to my problem. I wanted somebody to solve my problem. And I want you to imagine that there are countless clients out there who are having their own middle of the night, if I could just, and they're looking for you because they can't sleep without you. I know that sounds funny. That's another seminar. They can't sleep without you, so it's actually your divine duty to get out there in a big way. Why? Because otherwise you're being stingy and you're being greedy with your brownies. These people are waking up in the middle of the night and they need you. And their life is not good right now. And you all, in one way or another, have the solution. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So, with each client that you help, you are affecting them more than you know. This is how it works. Imagine a placid lake, and you go like this. Go like this with me. Or just, by the way, I hope you put all your inhibitions at the door, right? Because we're going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to do stuff here you didn't imagine that you would ever do. But that's for later. Go like this. Right? Do it again. Right? That is what happens to a placid lake when you work with one more client. See, not only do you affect them, but you affect their entire lives. Right? You affect them and how they are in the world, but by default, it touches everybody else in their life. Their spouses, their family members, their children, their neighbors, their friends. And so in you working with just one client, you've created this ripple. Now, these children and these neighbors and these friends will be touched and affect the world in their own little ripple as well, right? So what I want you to get is that's just what happens when you touch one client. Imagine if you're touching 20, right? You're creating 20 ripples. But imagine if you begin touching 200 untold ripples. 2,000. Ripple after ripple after ripple. 12,000. 20,000. 200,000. What happens then? You change the world. I know it sounds a little grandiose, but that's exactly what you're here to do. So you were given these brownies, and it's not to eat them by yourself. You are here to be of service. The problem is you don't know how big you're actually here to be of service. You may be thinking 20 to 200 people. But it is actually your divine duty to play so much bigger. Take a deep breath in. And so you came here because it was called the inner game of abundance. I mean, does anybody even know that that's what it's called? Some people are like, whatever you're doing, I'll be there. This is called the inner game of abundance. So you might be wondering, what does this have to do with my own abundance? Well, the thing is, the more people you serve, the more money you make. And I know some of you may be like, duh, you know, I know that intellectually. But if you're wondering how to make more, who's wondering how to make more money in their business? Yeah. Don't be shy. Just go like this. Yes. There's nothing wrong with money. We're actually going to talk about that. There's everything right with money. Right? So you need to give a lot more value to a lot more people to make a lot more money. I know that sounds simple, and in fact, a lot of the things that we're going to talk about on the surface are so simple that most people discount them, and they don't actually, we're all looking for something really complex and like, oh, like the skies part, and it's like this thing. But actually, the truth is always very zen and very like natural, right? So if you want to make more money in your business, you need to give more value than you're giving now. That, by the way, is a profound statement right there, just by itself. You need to give more value. Right? You don't get paid for your time because then you become a commodity. You get paid for the value of what you add to people's lives and how it can be measured. Just that in itself, you could go home and you'll make more money. But I've got you here for 3 days, so I'm going to work on you some more. Then you want to give that value to a lot more people. So if you want to make more money, instead of working with 20 people, we need to get you to work with 200 people. If you're already working with 2,000 people, let's get you to add a lot more value to 20,000 people. Does that make sense? Turn to the person next to you and say, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. And that is how you make a lot of money. So here's the big fat lie. And I encountered it just the other day. It's like insidious. And this is the way we've been programmed.